Welcome to Win the Day from Back to the Bible. I'm your coach, Pastor Nat, and today we're going to talk about the object of our worship. This past summer, I had the pleasure of taking a couple of my boys to a Garth Brooks concert at Memorial Stadium here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Now, I'm not a big country western fan, but Garth puts on a concert second to none. It really was quite the spectacle. I mean, here we were surrounded by nearly 100,000 people in Memorial Stadium to see Garth Brooks rock the stage. When Garth Brooks appeared rising up in the middle of the stage, you would have thought we won the college football championship. I mean, the place erupted. As we left the concert, we talked about what a good show it was. But we also talked about how we felt sad. We felt sad because the majority of people who worshiped creation, they did it instead of worshiping the Creator. This week, we want to talk about worship. We are people who are confused about worship. We worship the wrong things. We don't know what worship is. So that's what we're going to talk about. Today, we want to discuss why we worship, and more importantly, why God is worthy alone of our worship. Listen to what David writes in Psalm 100 in verses 3 and 5. Acknowledge that the Lord is God. He made us, and we are His people, the sheep of His pasture. For the Lord is good, and His faithful love endures forever, His faithfulness through all generations. We find worship all around us. We worship sports teams, musicians, entertainers. We worship smartphones. We worship TVs. We worship our hobbies, and we worship anything in between. You see, we worship through our attention and our resources. But God alone? God alone is worthy of worship. David says, acknowledge, or we might say recognize, or simply get it right. The Lord is God. He made us. You see, He is the Creator. We are the creation. He alone is worthy because He has the power. We're not worthy. We are but sheep in care of the Good Shepherd. Now, as God's created order, all people are under God's eye, but only those found in Christ are His sheep. We are the ones who are under His care, under His correction, His protection, and His provision. He is our provider. Therefore, He alone is worthy of our worship. Then in verse 5, David declares that the Lord is good. Now, Jesus said, no one is good but God alone. This is because God is perfect. He is perfect in His mercy. He's perfect in His justice. He's perfect in His grace and His very being. David says, His faithful love endures forever. His loving kindness, as my father would say, it's overwhelming. It's breathtaking. This is why we worship God. I mean, Moses wrote this on behalf of God. He said, you shall have no other gods before me. Jesus declared that the greatest commandment was to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. This is why we worship God alone. So this is my challenge for you today. I want you to remove the idols. We all have idols that steal our worship. Most nights, I would much rather play Fortnite or Zelda than spend a bit more time with God. I'd rather give my money to a good event at the local theater or arena than give one more dollar to charity. You see, I need to confess my sin to God. I need to remove the idols and then get back to worshiping God. I'm challenging you today. Will you join me? Will you join me in getting back to worshiping our God? I would love for you to interact with me in the comments below. What idols are you going to remove? How can we, as the people of God here in community, in Go Tandem and in Back to the Bible, how can we encourage you in the days ahead? When we remove the idols and we get back to worshiping God alone, it is He who wins the day.